Good morning, this is Kris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and you're listening to Coffee with Kris, the time of the day where we share a cup of coffee and share a bit of the Word of God. All right, folks, we are on our fourth Aliyah, our fourth Sidra of our Torah portion of Tisa, and we are in Exodus chapter 33, verses 17 through 23, and it reads, Adonai answered Moses, I will also do what you have said, for you have found favor in my eyes, and I know you by name. You know, it's kind of interesting. I know you by name. Just regular old Joes, regular people, common people who have no fame, fortune, title, or authority. Friends, family, know your name. Not such a big deal. People like that knowing your name. But somebody famous, like a king, or a president, or a prime minister, or a musician, or an actor, or actress, or somebody famous, if they know your name and they know who you are, wow, that's something. How did they get to know your name? What caused them to know your name? Why are you so famous in their eyes? Well, it's almost as if God is saying, Moses, you're famous to me. I know you by name. And it goes a little deeper than that. It's not just that God knew Moses by name, because obviously God is omniscient, God is God, he knows everything. But I know you by name means that we are on a first name basis. For instance, let's go back to, the analogy of a famous person. Usually when you're in the presence of a famous person, you say Mr. or Mrs. or Sir, or you call them by their title, which is officer or prime minister or whatever. But when you're on a first name basis, all that formality is just kind of brushed to the side, and there's an intimacy there when you're on a first name basis. Adonai answered Moses, I will also do what you have said. Do what? Remember God said, hey, this sin of the golden calf thing just went a little bit too far. I'm not going with you anymore. I'm going to send an angel to guide you the rest of the way to the promised land. And Moses is like, no. It's either you go with us or we don't go at all, because I'm not budging without your presence. Adonai answered Moses, I will also do what you have said. So God's going to go with them. For you have found favor in my eyes. Not necessarily, children of Israel found favor in God's eyes, but Moses did. It was because of Moses that God was going with the children of Israel right now. And I know you by name. Then he said, please show me your glory. Does Moses really know what he's asking? Asking God to show Moses his glory? Sometimes we ask things of God and we don't know what we're asking. We're like, God, show me your face. God, reveal yourself to me. Really? You really want that to happen? I know that something within our heart of hearts wants to connect to the divine. Something within our heart of hearts wants to connect to God and wants to know God in a more intimate way, wants to see God, not just for this proof thing, but because we want to be intimate with God. But remember, nobody could see God and live. Nobody could see God in this sinful, mortal flesh, this frail, finite, temporal, mortal flesh and live. But yet, Moses says, God, please show me your glory. So God is trying to compromise in the best way that he can and still spare Moses' life. So he says, I will cause my goodness to pass before you and call out the name of Adonai before you. I will be gracious toward whom I will be gracious. I will show mercy on whom I will be merciful. But he also said, you cannot see my face, for no man can see me and live. So he says, I'll tell you what, Moses, here's what we're going to do. Here's the compromise. Then Adonai said, see a place near me. You will stand on the rock. When my glory passes by, I will put you in the cleft of the rock and cover you with my hand until I pass by. Then I will take my hand away, and you will see my back, but my face you will not see. You can't see my face and live, but you can see my backside. That will have to do. So Adonai said, see a place near me. You will stand on the rock. What's that symbolic of? That's symbolic of Messiah Yeshua. Messiah Yeshua, Jesus Christ, said throughout the New Testament scriptures, the Brit Chadasha, if you will, that he is the rock. And he said that the law of Moses talked about him. Where is Yeshua in the law of Moses? Well, the angel of the Lord, the rock, the water from the rock, the bread from heaven. These are all types and images of Messiah Yeshua. Because in the New Testament, he says, I am the rock. He says, I am the living water. He says, I am the bread of life. All these things go back to the law of Moses, where it's the rock that the water came out of. It's the rock that Moses was standing on. It's the bread from heaven. All these things. So he says, see a place near me. You will stand on the rock while my glory passes by, and I will put you in the cleft of the rock. Okay, he's standing on this rock in this cleft of the rock. What is this cleft of the rock? This cleft of the rock, from what the rabbis and sages say of blessed memory, peace be upon them, is that this cleft of the rock is actually the part of the mountain that God carved out in order to form the tablets for the 10 words, the tablets for the 10 commandments. It's the place he carved out, and God is putting Moses in there as a little cubbyhole, a little safe place that he can stand and that he can protect himself and that he can be safe. And he says, my glory will pass by, and I will put you in the cleft of the rock. I will put you in the place that I carved out, the 2 tablets, and cover you with my hand until I pass by. Then I will take my hand away, and you will see my backside, but my face you will not see. I don't know about you, if you've ever had an encounter with God. I know that none of us have seen him with our physical eyes, but I'm sure that many of us has experienced his presence. And when his presence shows up in a room, you're just awestruck. You know, there's some instances where the presence of God, it's almost as if, we have an electrical system in our body. And whenever an electrical system shorts out, whether it be a light bulb or a computer or whatever, things kind of jitter around and flicker and everything, and it just shuts down. Well, sometimes when people are in the presence of God, it's as if it shorts out our electrical circuits. And a lot of people sometimes pass out in the presence of God. Some people just lay on the floor and just kind of soak it in, and they're in ecstasy and bliss. And some people cry, some people laugh. But it says, I will put you in the cleft of the rock and cover you with my hand until I pass by. Then I will take my hand away, and you will see my back, but you will not see my face. Sometimes, like I said, we don't know what we're asking. And we are to seek God's face. Psalm 27:8, the psalmist says that we are to seek the face of God. We are to seek his face. In other words, not necessarily to physically see him, but we are to seek his face. In other words, we're to be intimate with him. We're to know him deeply and intimately. And we can only do that by standing on the rock, by standing on Messiah Yeshua. We can't stand and see God without Messiah Yeshua. Yeshua is the mediator between us and God. He's the one who brings us into the presence of his Father. And he says, no man comes to the Father but by me. That's what it says in the Brit Kadesha, the New Testament. Jesus said, no man comes to the Father but by me. So let's remember that Yeshua is our rock. And when we're standing on the rock, we're standing on a firm foundation. When we're standing on the rock, we are in prime position to have a personal and intimate first-name basis relationship with God through Messiah Yeshua. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Go out there and have a great day. Shalom, and God bless.